always and forever. All right, so we are moving on to lesson 3. And guys, it is the same process over and over and over again. We are still using because we're working with percents, what's the strategy that we use? Percent box, right? And in my box, the top corner right here is labeled what? What's the top left corner labeled? If I were to draw my box, change. The amount of change, remember we draw it with a C over what? OG, original. And then we have percent, and what always goes in the bottom corner? 100. So we still have the same process going on. And we're going to still keep rocking and rolling with that. So, we've got some vocabulary we're talking about today. Today we're talking about gratuity. Say gratuity. Gratuity. Which is also the very fancy word for a tip. Okay? Where do we give tips? Raise your hand. Where do you give a tip, Tinley? At a restaurant, like a sit-down restaurant, right? I don't go up to the Dairy Queen and tip the Dairy Queen, do I? No, okay? Not fast food. If I got to stand in order, I don't tip. Okay? Skylar, where else?
Do you do like taxes or something?
We're getting 2 taxes. We are getting 2 taxes. Where do you give a tip?
Like Uber?
Okay, Uber, right? If you've ever had to take an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi, or if you've ever DoorDash, I know we don't really have all those opportunities a lot in Cochran, but if you do any of those things, you're supposed to tip. Where else, Kaylee?
Did you tip hotels?
Yes, at hotels, when you either have the people who come and clean your room, sometimes you let them, you tip them. If you have, because a lot of times if you go to a fancy hotel and they have this little guy called a bellhop and he comes out with this little rolling cart and he puts all your little luggage on there. Y'all have ever seen Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, Esteban? Okay, and then they roll the cart to your room. It's very fancy. Okay, you would tip them for providing a service for you. Or have y'all ever heard of this thing called valet?
Where they take your car?
Where they take your car. It's the craziest thing. You pull up to this fancy place, right? Whether it's a hotel or a mall or a restaurant, and you just hand your keys to some random teenager, and you trust them to drive your car somewhere else, and you trust that they're going to bring your car back. That's why you tip them, because you want them to bring your car back, right? So you've got valet. What else do we have, Jacob?
You know, like those people on the plane that like serve,
The flight attendants. Some people may tip a flight attendant. I don't typically do that, but they do serve you. Kaylee?
When you get your hair chopped.
When you get your hair chopped, you're providing a service for you. Get your hair did. You do a tip. When you get your nails done, gentlemen, you probably don't do that unless you go get a pedicure. But when you get your nails did, that's a service. You tip them, Skylar.
Is it like, you know, like how kids, like you'll see in movies, like doing lemonade stands? Would that be a tip too?
So that would just be them buying the product. Okay, so that's not necessarily a tip. Corey? Waiters, like when you go to a restaurant and they wait on you to give them a tip. So, when your mama goes on the cruise, when your mama's on the cruise, she'll be tipping folks left and right on the cruise. Okay? Alright, so a tip, the fancy word for tip is gratuity, is a percent that is either given or paid in addition to the price of a service. And we've talked about all those different types of services. So it's an additional amount of money that you're paying. Sales tax. We don't like to hear the word tax, but we live in a world where we have taxes. That's how you get your public education. That's how you have roads to drive on. things like that. That's how you have the military. All those important things, though we don't like paying it, we got to. Sales tax is a percent that is added to the price of goods or services. So it's just mandatory to tax. In Cochran, does anybody know what our tax rate is in Cochran? It's an 8% tax rate. So it's preset by the state at 7, but we opt to have an extra percent to go towards building school buildings and things like that in Bleckley County. That's how the primary school got built, is by adding 1 more percent. And that's crazy to think that we have enough purchases in Cochran. 1% is equivalent to like a penny. So we had enough pennies built up to build the primary school, which is kind of crazy. Okay? So both of these things, are we adding to the price or taking away price? Okay. We're adding to the price. So both of these are considered percent increase. Which means we're going to end up doing, it says addition, add, this should say added, not just add. Sorry. Proper grammar here. So we got Jeremy. Got a haircut. We could replace it with Kaylee. Got a haircut for $15 and paid a 15% as a tip. How much was the tip? Okay. So right here, we're looking for the amount of the tip. Just the amount of the tip. Are we looking for the total price or are we looking for part of the price? Part. We're looking for the extra part. So we can use our regular percent box. Right? If we're looking for part of a percent, all right, we've got the amount of change over the original and 100. What information can we plug in here? All right, 15% goes in the percent box, and the $15 is going to go in the OG box, which means I'm finding the change. How much extra change in money am I going to have? You should be whipping out that calculator, putting in those numbers, cross multiply, divide. We get, because we're talking about money, it's $2.25. Now the second part says, what is the total cost of Jeremy's haircut, including the tip? When we are including, that means plus. So we need the original price of the haircut. How much was the haircut? $15. All right. Including or plus, how much was the tip?
$2.25.
So walking out the door, Jeremy paid $17.25. Now, I can't remember if I had shown this class the other. Did I show you 2 methods? Method 2? Where you add the percent part instead. Now, this is only if you're finding amount, okay, or part. If you were finding the total amount, the total, like the total price, you can use the other method that we talked about last week. Let's say it only asked part B. What was the total cost of Jeremy's haircut? It still gets labeled the same thing. Oops, wrong one. Change over original. It originally cost $15. I want to know what my total new changed price is. So by doing that, I'm going to change the percent box. It would be, I'm going to pay the $15, right? Which is 100%. I've got to pay that. And I'm also choosing to pay 15%. So 100 plus 15 is, easy math there, 115%. I want to know what is that going to be equal to dollar-wise. So I cross multiply and I divide. And I get $17.25. You get the same answer, do we not? You're going to either have to add at the beginning or add at the end if you're looking for the total. If you're looking for the amount, then you just leave it like we've been doing. All right? Neha, if you need to move to that desk so you can see better, you can. I kind of didn't adjust my desk. I'll have that fixed tomorrow, hopefully. All right. So moving on. Jeremy decides he likes the hair product that his hairstylist used in his hair. Okay? So he decides he's going to buy it for $13. Maybe it's some kind of shampoo or something. Okay? So he buys for $13. But there's a sales tax of 7%. They don't live in Cochran. They live somewhere else. 7%. Okay? Calculate the, underline or box this in, amount of tax. Amount of tax. Is that a part or is that a total?
That is total part. Wait, no.
It's just asking for the amount of tax. How much are you paying in taxes? Not what is the total price. So this is a part of the amount. So if this is part of the amount, are we using method 1 or method 2? We're going to use method 1. So we're going to make our box like we've been doing. It was originally $13. We're paying 7%. We want to know how much is 7% of $13. You remember those is of boxes? How much is 7% of $13? So when you cross multiply and divide, everybody's calculator should be going, not waiting on somebody else to answer the question for them. So how much are you paying in tax? 91 cents. That's not awful, right? No, that's not terrible. It's about an extra $1. Okay? So this is how much tax he's paying. Now the next part says, what is the total cost? So that is the original plus the change. So originally, how much was it? $13 plus the 91 cents. So how much is he walking out the door paying? $13.91. Had it asked just part B, okay? Like let's pretend part A didn't exist for a second. Had it just asked for part B, what percent box would you have used?
The second one.
The total box, right? Where we would have changed the percent. So we could have come down here. Percent, 100, change, originally $13. We're paying 100% plus a 7% sales tax. So what percentage are we paying? What percentage? What's 100 plus 7? 107%. What is 107% of $13? When you cross multiply and divide, you get $13.91. Is there anything really big or different that we're doing here that we've been doing? It's the same strategy, same boxes, so we should be pretty good at this, okay? All right, let's move to the next page. Cash and Jamal, bless them, went to lunch on Saturday. Maybe they went to La Cabana or something. All right, their lunch cost $17.60. They gave the waiter a 15% gratuity. What is gratuity? Tip. On the amount before tax. Bless you. And they were charged a 5% tax rate on the amount before gratuity. What is the total cost of the lunch? Have any of y'all ever looked at the bills when the bills come at a restaurant before? The receipt? If you haven't, if y'all go out to eat or something, ask to see what it looks like. Because what it's going to come out is going to be this piece of paper, right? And they're going to list all the things that you ordered. So like, let's say we went to La Cabana, I got tacos. I got a cheese dip. You don't have to. I'm just showing you what it looks like. Cheese dip. I got me a Coke Zero. All right. And it costs so much, so much, so much. And so then it'll have my total as $17.60. Okay? That's just how much I spent on the food. After that, they're going to have a line that says tax. Or if you've ever seen a receipt where you've gone shopping before, my TJ Maxx receipt has this, unfortunately. Okay? It's going to say, let's pretend that the tax is $3.60. And then it's going to have the total with tax. Okay, and that would be $21.20. Okay? Right?
What happened to meals being $3? I want to know.
All right. Then it's going to have a line that says tip. And you tell them how much you want to tip them. A lot of people don't know this, and they will tip after the tax amount. You don't tip after the tax. You tip on the amount before the tax, because you're actually paying more. Should those people earn more money because the government says you should be taxed? No, okay? Their price is based off of what you ate, not the amount of tax included. So when you go to find tip, you do it before the tax amount. Does that make sense? Some of y'all make sense? Okay.
A lot of nice restaurants will have like the 15% tip amount, so you don't even have to calculate it. 18%, 20%.
Some of them you have to be careful though that we've noticed is they do that 15% off of the total with the tax because they're trying to get that extra money out of you. And so you sometimes, some places are really good about it, but there's some places that try to like cheat you out of some money, so you got to pay attention. That's why it's important to
That's
know
why
your
it's
math.
important to know this. Right.
Okay, so you're not getting cheated out of money.
Right. We can calculate out. Have one on your phone.
All right, so they give you a napkin, make a percent box on the back of the napkin.
That's right. That's right.
If y'all go to the Huddle House this week, give you a percent box to figure out the tip. Okay? So this part A of our question says, find the amount of gratuity. What does gratuity also mean? Tip. Thank you, Jaden. is the amount of gratuity or the amount of tip, is that a part or a total? Part. If it asks for amount of tip or amount of tax, it is a part of what you're paying. Do you see how it's a different section down here? It's part of the whole amount. Okay? So, we're going to use the part box, right? So it was originally $17.60. You paid 15%. We just want to know what part. You cross multiply and divide. How much tip did Cash and Jamal leave? $2.64. Okay? So that's their tip, $2.64. Now we want to find the amount of tax. Is this part or total? This is a part. Miss Williams over there has got this. You're going to need to know the difference on your homework. That's what also got you on those IXLs, is not paying attention to which question it was asking you. So originally paid $17.60. Our tax rate was 5%. What part of that are we paying in taxes? 88 cents. So I can come over here and fix my receipt. Alright, so my tax was 88 cents. So what's my new total going to be? I've got to pay for my food, I got to pay for my tax, and I got to pay for my tip. If I come in with a $20 bill, will $20 be enough? Let's see. What's my total going to be? I've got my meal plus my tip, which was $2.64, and my tax was 88 cents. Will my $20 bill be enough? If their mama gave them a $20 bill and said, use this, is all you got,
Nope.
is it enough?
$1.12.
Oh, no. They better start looking in the parking lot for some loose change, right? Or go wash some dishes, because they ain't got enough. That's also why you can't go into a store with a $5 bill and expect to be able to buy $5 worth of something. They're going to tell you you have to put something back. Because you got to have some change. You're going to have some tax in there. Alright, y'all don't worry about this one right now. Okay? Don't mark it out, but just don't worry about that one. Let's look at this one. It says step it out. Find sales tax. Find sales tax. Miriam buys a chair for $579. I'm hoping this is like a living room set type chair. Like
For leather.
right. Very nice. Maybe a reclining chair. Okay. The tax rate is 7.5%. How much was the tax on the chair? Is this a part or a total? What are you finding? We'll go back to your question. How much was the tax on the chair? What are you finding? The tax. Is tax the total price or part of the total price? This is part of the total price. So make your box. Bless you. Which box are we going to use? the first box, right? Are we gonna do anything different to our percent? No, we're gonna leave it alone. So how much taxes are they paying on this one chair? You got 3 decimal places, didn't you? Money only has how many? 2. Thank you. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna have to round. So 1, 2. Buckle my shoes. Alright, where's the 2 going to look? The 5, and what is the 5 gonna tell the 2 to do?
Round up.
Round up. So $43.43 is how much tax she's having to pay on the chair, right? So she's having to pay for the chair and the tax. So what would her total be? How would you figure out her total? I would add the 2 together, right? I would take the price of the chair plus the amount of tax, which would give me what?
$622.43.
We're in the other hundreds, aren't we? After we add the tax, aren't we? It'll change your price drastically. Yeah, the other hundreds. Not the 500s no more. All right, Miriam. Again, now she's bought the chair. She's paying to have it delivered.
Softball players and managers at this time. Thank you. She's buying everything.
All right, so she's bought the chair. Now she only has like a little Prius car, and she can't fit the chair in her car, so she's got to have it delivered. Okay? So to have it delivered, they don't just deliver for free. Some places do, okay? But this is from like a bougie place where you got to pay for everything. So to have it delivered was $24.75. Because the driver is providing a service to her, she's going to do a 20% tip. It says, what is the total expense? The total price, expense means price. What is the total price of the delivery? So the question tells us, is this a part or a total?
Total.
Everybody should say this with confidence. Is it a part or a total?
Total.
It has the word total in it. Reminds me of Crush, like totally, dude. Sorry, my brain's all over the place today. Alright, change over original. Oh, Kari done got it. Alright, $24.75. Now, is the original price. However, we're looking for the total. So which box should we probably try and use? The total box where we change the percent. We're paying 100% and the 20%. So together we're paying a total of 120%. So how much money is 120% of the $24.75? $29.70. Remember, it's 2 decimal places, so if we got 0.7, we need to add that 0 behind it. Now, if you use the other box, you can still use the other box. If you prefer the other box, you can. I'm not going to be mad at you for it. Okay? But when you get your box right here, Kari, you did the first box, didn't you? What did you get as your $4.95? Okay, that's the amount of the tip. So what do you have to do next? because it's looking for the total, you've got to add that into the total. Does that make sense? All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to practice number 1 and number 2, and then we will check it, and if you get your approval from us, then you can start on your homework. Okay? So go ahead and do numbers 1 and 2, and then we'll check them. Pay attention to if it's a total or if it's a part.